Hello, thank you for joining us. My name is Daniel Sauve. I am the scholarships manager, and we are going to answer any of your last minute questions ahead of our May 31st deadline for our 25-26 scholarships application. That's just 4 days away here, so hopefully you have gotten your application started, but if not, now is the time to get it going. So I have a brief presentation here just to go through some basics about our scholarship opportunities and the application process. But you can go ahead and drop your questions in the chat as I get started. We are going to save most of the time today for your questions so that you have everything you need, all the information you need to get your application in by Saturday, this Saturday. So yeah, let's just jump into the presentation here. My colleague Mandy will also be in the chat answering questions. So as I go through it, feel free to drop any questions you have there in the chat, and either she will answer them there in the chat or I'll bring them up and answer them here on as I talk through this presentation. So this year at 24-25, we awarded a little over $20 million in scholarships to over 5,000 students. So we're hoping to do more than that this year. You know, our resource development team is working right now to secure all the funds for 25-26 so that we can award as much or more than we did in 24-25. And so in addition to the scholarship funds, we also offer all of our full circle scholars coaching. We'll have a student success coach assigned to you that will help you, give you some extra support. And then we also have career development team that can help you as you're ready to transition then into a career. For those just joining us, I'm just going to go over a brief presentation. Feel free to drop any questions you might have there in the chat. A little bit about our eligibility criteria. When you apply, you're really applying to over 300 different scholarships, and they all have slightly different criteria depending on the wishes of the donor, and what their priorities are in terms of awarding their scholarships. But these are this is the basic criteria. So a lot of our scholarships will just require this, that you're either a tribal member or a descendant of a tribal member of a state or federally recognized tribe, that you have at least a 2.0 cumulative GPA. You're enrolled full-time at an accredited not-for-profit school. So that's the basic criteria. Other scholarships, some scholarships will have other criteria on top of that, but to apply, this is really what we're looking for. The application is open now until Saturday, May 31st. The application, it stays open after that, but that's the date you want to apply by to really get full consideration for our scholarship. They'll be awarded. Anybody who applies by May 31st, your scholarship gets scored by our reviewer team, and then we do our awarding in July. Like I said earlier, one application, you're really applying to over 300 different scholarships that we have in our portfolio. When you apply, you're going to need 3 documents. So we suggest getting these together beforehand, before you start your application process. Those being a digital photo of yourself. We don't need you to hire a professional photographer, but we also would prefer it be somewhat professional, meaning, you don't take a selfie of yourself, or it's not like a group photo. It's, a photo of you that someone has taken. Even, you can hand somebody else your phone to take a picture of you. If you're dressed in, semi-professional looking attire or, traditional clothing, that's kind of more what we're looking for than just like a selfie. The other things you'll need is your proof of your tribal enrollment or descendancy. So a CIB, your tribal ID, a letter from your tribes, stating that you're a member. If you're applying as a descendant, you're not enrolled, but maybe your parent or grandparent is enrolled, you would just need that parent or grandparent's tribal enrollment document, and then your birth certificate showing your relationship to that person. And lastly, you would need your most recent transcript. Doesn't have to be an official transcript. It can be an unofficial transcript, something that you are able to download from the portal, from your school's portal, something that shows your cumulative GPA. So yeah, we recommend you get those things collected before you get started, just so you won't have to stop your application process and go get those documents and come back. So yeah, our website, if you go to collegefund.org/scholarships, that's where you'll find more information. Basically everything I cover here in this presentation and more. We do have a frequently asked questions page and scholarship tips for filling out your application. We have a page full of tips on our website. And then when you're ready to apply, you can go to collegefund.org/apply, and that'll take you directly to the application, and you can get started and fill that out. As you're filling out your application, I always recommend that you spend the majority of your time on these 3 questions. These are our short answer essay questions. They have to be between 100 and 300 words. So it's not a long essay. So you definitely want to flesh out your answers as much as you can in the limited space you have available. And I've always found that it seems like people who are closer to that 300 word mark tend to score better than people who are closer to the minimum, just because you have more time to kind of flesh out your answer, and our reviewers get to know more about you. And so those 3 questions are: what challenges have you overcome to attend college? What are your educational and career goals? And how will you use your education to impact your native community, your nation, or Indian country more broadly? And so those questions, you want to think about answering them thoroughly, beginning, middle, and end. And also, think about what reviewers might hope to get out of those questions. So what challenges have you overcome to attend college? Think about what the challenge was, how you responded, and then what the outcome was. And then think about how that demonstrates, your resiliency, your ability to problem solve, kind of some of the values that might, or the characteristics that you embodied that might, that question might be pointing toward. And then what are your educational and career goals? You want to think about not just what those goals are, but why those goals are, how they came to be. And if you can give, specific goals, that's always good. Even if it's, audacious goals, that's kind of something that, they're looking for something that's somewhat ambitious. And then lastly, how will you use your education to impact your community? That's really, they want to show that when you finish your education, you are looking to give back in ways that will benefit not just you, but those around you, your family, your community, and that you're going to stay involved with your community. Some key tips for a strong application. Well, we have there apply as soon as possible. It's late in the application period, so apply now. Apply, tomorrow, today if you can. But try not to wait till the last minute. Who knows what if you run into any technical issues. Our team is available through Friday. So if you're applying on Saturday and you run into any issues, we won't be available to support you. So please at least get started. Try to finish up by Friday if you can, so that if you run into any issues, we're available to support you. And I'll drop our phone number and our email toward the end of this presentation, so you can reach out to us if you run into any questions or issues. We recommend avoiding using AI to generate your answers to the prompts. Um, we've found that the answers that are generated through AI tend to be a bit on the generic side and actually don't necessarily help your cause. Our reviewers have mentioned multiple times that they really value authenticity and really hearing your story in your voice and kind of what your goals are and what where you've been and where you're going. And we've found that um, students' original writing shows through better than those that have used AI. There's been a couple cases in which it's very clear that students have used AI or some Chat GPT or some form of something that is not their original writing. I heard that last year somebody copied the entire answer, including the prompt, including some messaging that said it was Chat GPT and pasted it into the application. If something like that happens and it's clear like that, your application will just get discarded. So we just recommend avoiding using AI altogether. If you have somebody that can review your application, especially your essay questions ahead of time, go ahead and ask them to just read over, make sure that your writing is clear enough for them to understand your answer, and maybe they'll have ideas of how you might improve it. That's totally, we totally would rather you ask, another person than a Chat GPT for help in that regard. Like I mentioned, we have on our website a page for application tips and for frequently asked questions. So visit our website, collegefund.org/scholarships, and you'll be able to find those pages. And then lastly, reach out to our scholarships team. Myself, Mandy, Alberto, Juan, we're all going to be available for the rest of this week through, like I said, through Friday. Reach out to us. Scholarships at collegefund.org, and I'll have our 800 number here in just a moment. But we are available to help you. It's going to get busier and busier as we get toward the end of the week. So ask those questions as soon as you can, because it might take us a little bit to get back to you. So there's our phone number there, 800-987-3863. Email us at scholarships@collegefund.org. Let's open it up for questions. Does anybody have any questions? You can go ahead and type those in the chat there. One question that we get pretty often is kind of what the range of scholarship award amounts are. And it varies. Like I mentioned, we have 300 plus different scholarships, and they range from from $2,000 up to $20,000, but the most are in that $2,000 to $5,000 per year range. We did have one scholarship that was a full ride to Harvard Law School, and that was by far and away the highest dollar award amount that we've awarded, but that's very limited, of course. Any other questions coming up for folks? Things you want to know before you jump into the application, or if you've already started, if you run into any questions. Mandy just put the email and the phone number there in the chat. Is the scholarship open to graduate school students? That was actually the next question. If no one was going to ask a question, that's the next question I was going to get to, because that's a pretty common question we get. Yes, it is open to grad students. We have scholarships that are awarded to students at all levels. So certificate students, associates, bachelors, masters, doctorate students. We have scholarships that cater to folks throughout their educational journey. So yes, for sure. Yeah. Medical school, yes, yep, absolutely. Medical school, Reagan, yep. Um, I also always recommend, oh, actually, I don't know if there's a couple of scholarships that I was going to recommend for specifically for those grad students. I know Native Forward has also offers scholarships for graduate students, but I don't know when their scholarship closes, if it already has. We usually recommend Native Forward and the Cobell Scholarship. I think the Cobell Scholarship might be closed, but look into those two if you haven't already. Native Forward and Cobell Scholarship. No other scholarships serving Native students. Any other questions? If not, I will um, show you our website here. Go to collegefund.org and then go to for students scholarships. You'll see here, we just put this banner in here today that has a button that will take you directly to our application. And then you can read more information about if you're, a high school student, if you're a student at a tribal college or a student at a non-tribal college or university, just hover over your journey and then click Learn More. And then it'll go over the basic eligibility, kind of the opportunities available, what documents, basically all the stuff I ever covered. There's also a walkthrough video, so that'll walk you through kind of the steps to apply. And then there's again, a button to the application. How likely to get rewarded. So if you've been awarded with us, say like students that applied 24, 25, and they were awarded a scholarship and then they apply again 25, 26. We do our best to re-award from one year to the next to renew those scholarships. Of course, it depends on that donor renewing their scholarship, that same scholarship program, which most of them do. And it also depends on a scholar maintaining eligibility within that program. So um, if it's a program that is open to specific majors, they haven't changed their major to something that's no longer eligible, or their GPA is still meets the criteria. If a student reapplies, they were awarded last year, and they no longer meet the criteria of a specific scholarship, or that scholar no longer it doesn't fund that scholarship to the next year. We then look for a different program for that student. So once you've been awarded with us, we've made an investment in you. We are eager to continue to invest in you in the next year as well with a scholarship. It's never guaranteed. We don't guarantee just because you never know what's going to happen from year to year. But in most cases, we are able to award students from year to year, as long as you maintain basic eligibility and fill out one application. You'd have to reapply every year. So it's not just an automatic renewal. You just got to submit a new application each year. Uh-oh, why is this taking a long time? There might be a heavy load on the system right now. Let's see. Oh, it finally came up. Okay. So, so yeah, when you come to our application, you'll create an account. If you've already created an account with us before, you just forget your password, please don't create another account. If you were awarded, before and then you create a new account, it won't be linked. So then we wouldn't prioritize that application for a renewal because we wouldn't have it in our system that it's the same student, right? So if you've created an application or an account with us before, please don't create another account. Either go to the forgot your password, or if you've forgotten what email you signed in with, you can just reach out to us, email us scholarships@collegefund.org, and we can let you know what your username is, which is an email address. So once you create your account, you go ahead and log in. And the first thing you want to do is create a profile. Profile is just your basic information, your name, date of birth, your email address, that digital photo that I mentioned earlier, that's where this is going to get uploaded here. Your address, some other demographic information. All this information is used in specific scholarships. Folks might want, might award a single mother. So that's why, they ask if you're, single or and your gender and if you have children, all three of those might be used if, for that specific scholarship. Um, some scholarships award members of a specific tribe or from a specific region. So that's where your tribal affiliation might come into play. Um, and then once you've done that, you'll save all that information, and that's just the profile. The application is actually separate from that. So once you've done that, so if you create an account with us before, you'll still have your profile. You can go in and update that. And then each year you apply, you'll have a new application card, which is what we call these. So you'll see here in this account, we have our 24-25, which is now open. We have some scholars that are summer scholars, and then the application for 25-26 is open now. So you go ahead and click on 25-26. Or if you're brand new, it'll just have a plus, and you'll just click on that, and it'll take you to your 25-26 application. You need to complete the first three of these. The resume is optional. That's used for our career development folks, but it's not a requirement to submit your application. But you do need to submit the scholarship application. Extracurricular activities, you need at least one extracurricular activity listed and at least one honors and distinctions. And then once all three of those are completed, this green submit application button will be available for you to press. I think until these three are complete, this button you can't even you cannot press it to submit that. So you'll go through, you'll fill out each of these sections. You'll see you're entering your school, your degree, your major, whether you're full-time or part-time, your cumulative GPA, class level. Like, we really tried to not put things in here that were not used specifically to award scholarships. So you'll see, if you've previously attended a tribal college, if you're currently a tribal college student, you want to indicate that we do have some scholarships that are specific to tribal college students. We have other scholarships that are open to tribal college and non-tribal college, any school that is not for-profit. For-profit schools are the only ones we cannot award at. If you were a scholar with us before, so like I mentioned, we prioritize you for renewal. So you can just say, if this is already marked yes, you'll get a message that says congratulations, you were a recipient. You don't need to update your reflection questions. Just go with the same and just skip over those. Those are carried over from year to year. So if you do apply this year and then come back next year, your reflection questions, you don't have to start from scratch. We'll have your old questions there. You might want to update them, edit them, but at least you'll have that base to start from. Like I mentioned, there are between a 100-word minimum and a 300-word maximum. And so you really want to hone in on the key things that you want to highlight in those answers. We do have another question that I wanted to highlight. Oh, this one. Are you a descendant of a boarding school survivor? Very sensitive question. We understand that. You don't have to answer that. That is only for one specific scholarship that we administer for the National Boarding School Healing Coalition. And then they want us to collect that information for students applying for that one specific scholarship. If you say prefer not to answer, no, it won't affect your overall application. You just won't be eligible for that one specific scholarship. And so that's what that question is for. And so if you are able to answer it, you can click yes, and you'll find this another reflection question here asking about your relatives or your personal experience at a boarding school. But prefer not to answer, totally fine. Won't affect your overall score. For these reflection questions, there's a little bit of help text here telling you a little bit more about what our reviewers are looking for. So this one that asks about the challenges you've overcome. There's a little help text here that says, when answering these questions, we encourage you to reflect on what you've learned from your challenges, how you've adapted and grown, how you've shaped who you are, how they've shaped who you are today. So each of these has a little bit of help text, a little bit of more guidance in terms of what our readers might be looking for. If you're a member of Boys and Girls Club or ever were, if you're a current or former member of Armed Forces, again, those are specific scholarships that are looking for those. So you can just answer those yes or no. And then a heartfelt thank you to our donors, which we'll use when we report our scholars to donors. That is what we used to do that, whatever you input there. Upload your transcript, and then this is the only section that's not actually used for awarding purposes is about the FAFSA. We recommend everyone fills out the FAFSA, but it's not a requirement to apply for our scholarship. So if you haven't done it yet, you can just click no. If you have, you can click yes, and then enter your student aid index, which is a number that you would have gotten from your FAFSA. If you're not sure where to find that, there's a link to the guide to where to find that. And then you just click a few agreements here, and then let us know how did you hear about the college fund, and then you'll save those changes, move on to extracurricular activities, honors and distinctions. These both function the same way. Basically, you'll see, you can add an item. And we really encourage people to think broadly about extracurricular activities and honors and distinctions. Any way you're involved in your community are things that are valued in this process. So, we've had some people say, well, I haven't really been able to do many extracurriculars because I have to go home and take care of my siblings, or I have to go take care of my elder. That's something that you would want to put here, that elder care, or that sibling care, child care. Anything you do to serve in your community, your family, you want to put it here. And so, choose the type of work that is, whatever it might be, or even work. If you work somewhere, you want to put that, how long you've been doing it, 6 to 12 months, more than a year, and then just write a brief description of what that is and mark complete. I'm going to delete this because we don't need it, but you'd want to mark that complete. And like I said, you need at least one, but we recommend 3 or 4 is usually a good, or you can add more if you have them. And it's the exact same with the honors and distinctions. Same setup. You just go in, you add, you can add a new item, or if you're coming in from a previous year you've applied with us, these will already be here. You can just edit them and update them. So yeah, your essays we bring over from year to year, and then your honors and distinctions and your extracurriculars, we bring those all over in order to kind of decrease that friction for you to apply from one year to the next, make it as simple and easy as possible. So that's what you'll find that when you log in, the next year. But if you come in here and find one you've already done and you want to update it, maybe there's more you want to kind of describe about what this honor distinction was, you can do that. Or if you want it, like you've had extracurricular, now you've been doing it, before you were doing it less than 6 months, and now you're doing it more than a year, you can update the length of time that you were doing that. But once you've added some honors and distinctions, you have your scholarship application done, your extracurriculars in, your honors and distinctions finished. You can, if you're interested in, especially if you're interested in internship opportunities or career opportunities, you can come in here, upload your resume. Like it spells out here, your resume is not a requirement to be considered for a scholarship. It doesn't go into your overall score, but it does allow us to consider you for career development opportunities. You can indicate whether you're interested in internship or not. You can add your LinkedIn here, and then save those changes, or not. It's not a requirement, like I said. And then once you've done all that, those three sections are complete. You can go ahead and submit it. You'll get a message here. We received your application. Once you do submit it, you're not able to make any edits. So if you realize it later, oh, I actually need to update something, you can let us know at scholarships@collegefund.org. So some people, they might have a couple different schools they're considering for the fall. Choose the one that you would most, would either be most likely or the one that you're hoping for. And then if you need to update that, then that's when you would email us and say, actually, I'm going to go to this other school. But make sure you update us before those scholarships are awarded in July. Update us as soon as you find out you're going to be going to a different school. But that's really the whole process. Are there any questions? Anybody have any questions about either the application process, anything other, the scholarship opportunities? I'll put that contact information back up there. Oh, I think I'll also show you some more things on our website here, actually. So we do have a page of additional scholarships. So if you want to, do some research about other scholarship opportunities that might be available, you can find that there. We also have, go back to the application frequently asked questions is something I mentioned too. So a lot of the questions that come up that students ask, like the one we just answered, that can my scholarship be renewed from year to year? Every student must submit a new application each academic year. So again, like I said, it can't guarantee to be renewed, but we do our best to renew from year to year. Does my transcript have to be official? No, nope. We can use unofficial. Unofficial transcripts are fine. You just need to make sure it shows your cumulative GPA, not just the term GPA. Any other questions? When will I be notified if I'm awarded? So basically, apply by May 31st, apply by this Saturday. Our reviewers are going to be scoring throughout June, and then we're going to start awarding in July. And so by end of July, we'll send out an email to whatever email address you put in your profile there as your primary email address. We'll send a notification there, whether you're awarded, whether you're not. All those will be sent out end of July, the end of July. If I'm a Canadian citizen or a member of a Canadian tribe, am I eligible to apply? Yeah. So our eligibility includes those who are eligible to study here under the Jay Treaty. If you're studying here from a Canadian First Nation, you probably know whether you're eligible under the Jay Treaty, but you are eligible for our scholarships if that's the case for you. If you're not sure, if you're Canadian First Nations, you're not sure whether you're eligible, send us an email, scholarships@collegefund.org, and we can answer any of those questions you might have. What is a tribal college or university? Sometimes people aren't sure what qualifies as a tribal college or university. For us, we work with AHEC, the American Indian Higher Education Commission, and they have 34 accredited TCUs right now. But if you go to the tribal college page on our website, that'll give you a map of and all those TCUs, and you can find those there. We do have specific programs for tribal colleges and universities. So if you are a TCU student, we have both the Full Circle program, which is available to any Native student across the country. And then we have additional portfolio of scholarships that are only available at tribal colleges and universities. How do I apply for a specific college fund scholarship? You don't have to. You apply once in our general application, and you automatically are considered for all those scholarships. We have an automated system that matches all the applications to all the criteria for all the scholarships, and it creates, those draft awards. And then when we're awarding in a specific program, say Disney or whatever it is, we sort them in order of the score that they received. Every application is scored 3 times by 3 different of our reviewers. Our reviewers are people that are outside of our organization. They work in Native higher ed in some capacity, and we hire them on to review applications for us during from February to into June. Your application is scored 3 times. Those are averaged. And then within each scholarship application or scholarship program, we sort them by highest score to lowest score, and we just start awarding until we've awarded all the funds in that program. And then we move on to the next and do the same. So that's just kind of a little insight into how that whole process works. Can you be awarded more than one scholarship? Great question. In the Full Circle program, you can be awarded only one. Now, if you are at a tribal college, you could get a Full Circle scholarship and a TCU scholarship. That's the only case where you could be awarded more than one scholarship is if you're a tribal college. For the rest of our applicants, yeah, in the Full Circle program, we award just one scholarship per student per year. And it is awarded as a full year award. So fall of 25, spring of 26. So that award would be, you get half in the fall, half in the spring, sent directly to your financial aid office at your school. And then they'll apply that to your student account. I think I answered most of these questions. Yeah, if you have any other questions, put them there in the chat. And otherwise, I'm almost done with all these frequently asked questions, so I'm ready for your questions, if you have them. If I don't see my tribe, major, or school as an option on the in an application, what should I do? If you don't see your tribe, put other and then type it in. Same with your school. Major and also degree type, I would recommend choosing the closest option. We have a lot of majors, but obviously, we don't have every major in the world, especially if it's very specialized. So choose one that's closest, because those majors that we have in our data table already are the ones that are linked to those scholarships that are looking for specific majors. So if you choose if you put other and then write something in, you're not going to be matched to any of those scholarships that require a specific major. But if you choose something that's closely related, then you might match with one of those scholarships that requires that particular major. And same with degree type. There's some that require certain degree types. They're looking for just associates or just masters or even just masters of science or whatever it is. So choose the one that's closest. We don't have every degree type there as well. So choose the one that's closest to what you're studying or what your degree type is. And I think I already mentioned transcript does not have to be official. We can take unofficial transcripts. We're just looking for the cumulative GPA. So it's asking, where do I find my cumulative GPA? Yeah, if you're not sure what your cumulative GPA is, Um, Sometimes some transcripts will call it different things. Some will call it career GPA or final GPA or yeah, there's some other things other people other different schools have different nomenclature. But if you look at your usually you'll have your online portal that'll show your information, or you can ask your financial aid office how you can get that. Um, GPA, your report must be your most recent cumulative GPA, even if that's a high school transcript. Yeah, so that's a good point. Like if you're coming from high school, you don't have a college GPA yet, submit your high school transcript. If it's on, a scale of 100 rather than a 4.0, that's there's different or some other system like it says here GED or high set. Um, there's um, tools online to convert that to a 4.0 scale. So if you just Google convert GED to 4.0 scale, um, different tools come up. So you can do that and then use that as your the GPA that you enter in your application. Um, and so that's the questions that I have here. Do you have any other questions that we can answer for you? All right. Well, as you get started in your application, any questions come up, again, there's our phone number, there's our email address. Email us. Usually the best way to get in touch with us is that email address because we all four members of our team have access to that email address. If you call us, there's only so we can only each take one call at a time. But if you email us, then we can work through those one by one. Um, but yeah, either way, just, we encourage you to reach out before, by Friday, like I said, at the latest, if, sooner if you can, just so you can, we can get you on track to apply and finish up by Saturday. Do what time on Saturday? Midnight on Saturday. So that's your local time, midnight on Saturday. Yeah, thank you, Shannon. Thank you, Reagan. Thanks everyone for coming. Do we have any other questions? Saturday at midnight. Don't wait till midnight. We do have, it's crazy. If you saw the number of applications that come in the very last day, it's wild. It's like so many people wait till the last moment. You don't have to. You can get it done today. You can do it tomorrow. But yeah, and like I said, the advantage of that is you can reach out to us. You can ask us any questions that might come up. If you're doing it on Saturday and you're rushed, you won't be able to, check, run your essays by anyone else because you'll just have to, go with what you can get done, before that midnight deadline. So we always recommend do it, as early as you can. We're in the last few days now, so go ahead and get that in as soon as you can. I'm just going to hang out for a little bit to see if there's any last questions. But if not, thank you guys so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. Hope to see your applications coming in soon. And you'll hear from us at the end of July. Do you accept calls up to 5 p.m. Mountain Time? Yes. Yep, exactly. Yeah, that's so our team works usually until 5 p.m. Mountain Time. So we're accepting calls. If you don't reach us, you can also leave a voicemail. Someone will call you back. But yeah, usually we clock in around 8 a.m. and we're available until about 5 p.m. So yes, yeah, give us a call. Any questions come up, you need help with anything or you're not sure about anything, give us a call. Or like I said, email, either one, just let us know what questions you have. All right, well, if that's it. If there's no other questions, last call for questions. Otherwise, I'm gonna go have dinner. All right, thanks everyone. Appreciate it. Have a good night.